Our next session will see Asma Zubair, Director Product Management with Beatrice Sirchis, the Vice President of Application Security and IT Cybersecurity at IDB Bank, who will discuss how to de-risk your APIs and web applications. Please welcome Asma and Beatrice.
Good morning, everyone. Are you ready to de-risk your applications and web APIs? Louder. Awesome, awesome. At Qualys, customer comes first. And there is nothing better than having your customer vouch for your product. That is why I would like to bring Beatrice Sirchis on the stage, who is a long-time WAS customer and an awesome partner, to talk about Qualys WAS and how WAS has been benefiting her organization.
Good morning. So I would like to start by saying thank you to the Qualys team for inviting me. I am really so happy to be here and to share with all of you the accomplishments by working with Qualys. So I'm working with the platform for the last 5 years and was lucky enough to implement hands-on VMDR, total cloud, policy compliance, CSAM, web application security, and passive sensors. And I have to say that I am a fan and I am enjoying every moment. So my name is Beatrice Sirchis. I am the head of application security and vulnerability management for IDB Bank. This is a huge responsibility, meaning that I am the one that I am checking from a security perspective all the bank applications and recommending to my manager, who is the CISO, if the application is secure to go live. So what is IDB Bank? IDB Bank is a commercial bank providing financial services and wealth management to customers, private customers and companies, headquartered in New York City and branches in New York, New Jersey, Florida, and California, LA. So, as you know, banking is an extremely competitive business. And on top of that, we are on an extremely competitive location. So we need to have the security in order to allow the business growth. And not only allow the business growth, to have a rapid business growth. So how do you do that? First of all, knowing and securing all the applications, the web applications, and APIs. How does the API come into the picture? All those critical applications are sharing the most critical customer data by using the APIs. We implement, of course, a lot of security platforms, code scanning, web application scanning, and being OWASP compliance, because OWASP is such a broad framework that ensures the security of those applications. We implement, of course, the data security for all the critical financial records, and that's a mandatory requirement to be compliant to New York Department of Financial Services, FDIC. All those are very stringent requirements, and trust me, every year they are asking tougher questions. And one of the main platforms that we are using to respond to those tougher questions is Qualys. So when I started the application security and also the vulnerability management programs, I started by defining a few requirements, of course. And those requirements are starting with having a comprehensive inventory for the web applications and for the APIs. Why? In order to secure, we have to know the inventory, what we need to secure. Continuous scanning is mandatory, not only because new applications are showing new vulnerabilities, but also current applications are having new vulnerabilities that are discovered every day. We needed a platform that will allow us to perform non-intrusive production scans. Why is that? Well, because I don't want to impact the production, but we want to be able to scan. And of course, we don't want to impact the response time to our customers. We also needed the flexibility to have a common language with all our stakeholders, meaning the application development and the application managers and the IT, and the central reporting. That is very critical because our colleagues need reports. They need to know what to remediate and how to remediate. So, how we use Qualys Web Application Scan? All starts with having a full visibility. And when I'm speaking about full visibility, it means production, of course, but non-prod is equally important. And as we know, those critical applications have multiple non-prod environments, such as dev, test, QA, pre-prod. All those need to be scanned. Also the external applications, and also the cloud ones. We all scan using Web Application Scan. And then all this needs a business view. So the business context, meaning we know who are the owners of those applications, and we are able to allow those owners to be to know what is the application posture, what they need to do in order to be compliant to the security requirements. This will be the platform that allows all the teams to have the same view, the IT, the application, and the security. So, continuous scanning, it seems very easy to say. It has some challenges. So we are starting the scanning with the non-production, and also all the applications are scanned by using the Qualys scanners. As you know, we are using the external scanner, the cloud scanner for the external applications, and we are using the internal scanners that we deployed for the internal applications. And those scanners are allowing us to scan for vulnerabilities on the infrastructure level or a policy compliance. The same ones are allowing us to scan the applications. Second of all, scanning those applications with burp. You all know what burp is, how important it is to scan with that platform, but we want one source of truth, and that one source of truth is Qualys was by importing those XMLs. So this continuous scanning, it doesn't mean it's scanned every minute. We define jobs that are appropriate to each type of platform, environment, and application. And those are continuously allowing us to know what are the new postures, and allow us to know, to detect immediately any new vulnerabilities and to address them. So non-production. We spoke about the multiple non-production environments. They are so critical because these are the environments that we are seeking to remediate, and only after the remediation allowing to promote to production. We defined periodic reports that are automatically generated to the application owners, and those reports are sent by email. Why? Because I want them to focus on remediation, as opposite to go into Qualys and trying to find those reports. And those reports are including a lot of details regarding what is the vulnerability, why is that important to remediate from a security perspective, and how they should do that. And this is very important because they are not security experts in most of the cases. So we need to be realistic and allow them, provide them all the information that they need to do their job, which is remediate the application. So scanning and defining the jobs will do the scanning itself, but there are the profiles that we need to define beforehand. And what are those profiles? Those profiles will allow to scan for customized vulnerabilities to each application, such as OWASP, such as core vulnerabilities, such as Log4j. So those are different profiles that we defined according to each type of application. In non-prod, we are testing also for denial of service, which we wouldn't do, obviously, in production. But once it will be remediated, we'll know that the production version is ready. And of course, the production websites are scanned outside of the working hours or outside of the peak hours in order to preserve the production environment. So having a shared language with all our colleagues is very important, and we do so by defining dashboards, by defining reports, and also tracking key performance indicators. And in doing that, we defined a few targets. First of all, 0 critical and high-risk vulnerabilities for the external applications. It's easier to say than to do, and it was a journey, but it's done. Second of all, it would be 0 vulnerabilities before promoting to production. No application will be promoted to production unless is free of those vulnerabilities. And then one of the challenges is the third-party software. As you all know, Java, .NET, Apache, there are so many vulnerabilities related to those and so many new versions that are coming up. And the challenge is that most of those financial applications, they are supporting the third-party software up to a version. And if we want to go a version up, we'll need to speak with the vendor, get a new version, and then upgrade those. As I said, OWASP is the framework that we adopted because it's so thorough and it truly enables us to know that the applications are secure. And then there are the reports that we are sending to the management. Management reports are defined in a format and in a language that is appropriate to the management, of course. And they have the business context, because what the management want to know, are we safe, are we secure, and which are the customer-facing applications that are related to this report. So we prioritize the remediation because we are never going to be 0 vulnerabilities anywhere. We prioritize by tagging the criticality, the exposure, the environment, and we definitely take into account the Qualys true risk, meaning that We prioritize the critical and high risk based not only by severity, but also by the true risk. So what are our next steps? Our next steps is, first of all, implement software composition analysis. This is genius, isn't it? Like, let's think about this. We already work so hard to deploy and install the Qualys cloud agents on the servers. And those are doing vulnerability scanning and policy compliance and certificate scanning. And now they are doing software composition analysis. That's great. I just love it. Second of all would be to remediate, to implement the ServiceNow integration. We did that successfully for CSAM, meaning that all the infrastructure vulnerabilities are automatically ingested into ServiceNow. We defined assignment rules and assignment teams, and they are automatically getting all those. We'll want to do the same for Web Application Scanner. And third of all, to have the API scanning and vulnerabilities into the same platform. So what did we achieve? What we are achieving by using Web Application Scanning? First of all, 100% reduction of the critical and high-risk vulnerabilities. And we spoke about that, continuous scanning, approval only for those that are free. Second of all, 80% increase in vulnerability detection. And that is because we start early, from the earliest non-prod. And then 80% time saved by all the stakeholders because they are getting the right reports, the right dashboards, the right business context just for them to work. Thank you. And now Asma will continue the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Beatrice. I am back, ready to share more information about WAS. And before I do that, I'll take a moment to talk about what we are up against. We are up against rising number of vulnerabilities that are being exploited. We are up against ransomware that is increasingly exploiting web applications. And let's look at the problem slightly from a different angle. Applications are made up of APIs. Your APIs may be internal, or they may be external, using third-party services like weather, maps, payment gateways, and so on. Because of pervasiveness of the APIs, they make a very attractive target for attacks and for breaches. That is why security of your web applications and APIs is super critical for your business. Who here feels they have a comprehensive inventory of their web applications and APIs, and they know that applications and APIs are regularly tested and remediated in a reasonable time frame? I don't see any hands, actually, or very few, in fact. Now, let's talk about who has more than sufficient resources to remediate your vulnerabilities. I don't see very many hands on this question either. And prioritization is so hard because it depends on so many complicated factors. What you need is a comprehensive inventory of web applications and APIs. You need automated, user-friendly, and accurate security testing that takes into account the emerging and new threats that are continuously coming up. You need automated prioritization and integrated workflows so that you don't have to bend backward to make security work for you. That's why you need Qualys WAS, trusted by 4,500 organizations, For security testing of 370,000 applications, Qualys WAS has reported more than 25 million vulnerabilities. And what makes it different? Because it will look for known and unknown web assets. It detects not only OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, but also PII exposure, detection and monitoring of malware in your web applications. And it calculates true risk, which is calculated from business context, asset criticality, presence of vulnerabilities, and new and emerging threats. And it integrates in your workflows. Let's talk about discovery. Discovery is a big topic. It depends on a lot of things. You may have applications deployed in the cloud. You may have applications deployed in containers, orchestrated by Kubernetes. You may be using API gateways like Apigee, MuleSoft. You may have very good systems for tracking or inventorying APIs like Swagger specifications, Postman collections, and so on. Or you may not have them. You may want to discover the assets that are external, that are internet exposed. You may be looking for assets. You may want to discover assets within your own network. That is why at Qualys we take very comprehensive strategy, very comprehensive approach toward discovery. We are working on integration with cloud environments to discover your web applications and APIs. And we are also working on integration with MuleSoft so that you can detect your APIs that are built with MuleSoft. We have integrations with Swagger, Postman, and Burp so that you can create inventory of known APIs. We have integration with CSAM to present an inventory of web applications that are exposed internally, that are exposed externally. We have an integration with VMDR that we are in the process of fine-tuning to make it easier to use. For risk assessment, Qualys WAS detects more than 1,900 detections. And it also detects for malware. Malware detection capability is very unique because it looks for not only known signatures, but also for zero-day malware. It is built on deep learning model that analyzes thousands of attributes and can detect when a new malware appears on your web application. We are extending our API security testing capabilities. We are running an open beta. Scan the QR code. Register for API security beta. We would love to work with you and get your feedback. For prioritization, True Risk Score is available for web applications and for APIs. Use it to prioritize your remediation effort. Use it to measure, monitor, and communicate risk. And True Risk may even help lower your cybersecurity insurance. So we know that you don't want more tools and more systems in your day-to-day life. That is why Qualys WAS integrates with the common popular tools that you use. For example, ticketing systems like Jira Now, like Jira, like ServiceNow, different CI/CD systems like Jenkins, Azure DevOps, and so on. We have completely overhauled, upgraded our user experience for Qualys WAS. We have revamped our homepage to give you snapshot view of overall application security status. We provide customizable dashboards now. We have enhanced our search capabilities with QQL support. You can look for CISA known exploitable vulnerability information in WAS. A new sitemap report. We appreciate the feedback that people provided on new UI. If you still have more feedback, please reach out to us. Now, I would love to go in the demo. So in this demo, I would first give you an overview of discovery capabilities. Then we'll go into risk assessment. and then conclude the demo with integrated workflows. Yeah, so let's start with CSAM. CSAM customers see the inventory of web applications. And with just a few clicks, they can onboard discovered web applications in WAS for scanning. Very simple process, just enter a few things and web application gets configured for security testing. We are adding similar capabilities for VMDR also, so that just a few clicks, you configure the application for scanning with WAS and be able to detect your vulnerabilities, web application-related vulnerabilities. Now you may say, what about cloud? I have applications in the cloud. How can I discover those? So we are working on integration with cloud environment using a connector. Using connector, you can connect to your cloud accounts, provide some basic information, and then it will be set to scan and discover applications, discover APIs. And with that, it will start scanning and detect vulnerabilities. Very, very simple process, just a few clicks. And right here, you see applications and APIs discovered. With each asset, you see the information that is basic information available for that asset. Now, some of you may be using MuleSoft, and we are aware of that. And that is why we are building an integration with MuleSoft. Very simple process, just provide some basic information for the connector to connect with your MuleSoft environment. It will discover the APIs, and then with a few clicks, you can select the APIs for scanning with WAS. And once scanning is done, you would be able to see vulnerability report. You will be able to see API compliance information and true risk score, a lot of useful information that is needed to manage your application security and your API security program. For example, here, 240 vulnerabilities detected, one instance of sensitive data leakage. And all the information is classified by severity, by OWASP top 10, and so on. True risk score is provided. List of vulnerabilities you can see with the issue. And all the non-conformance to API specifications, all that is provided along with description of the issue, remediation advice, the line number where the problem is happening. And you can drill down into a specific vulnerability and see the details. For every vulnerability, Qualys WAS calculates the detection score. And detection score has a lot of intelligence in it. It takes into account the CVE associated with the vulnerability. It takes into account the malware that may be out there exploiting this particular vulnerability. It looks at the threat actors who may be exploiting that vulnerability. And all these things are taken into account in QDS score and Qualys True Risk as well. Now, I would like to show you how you can enable malware scanning for your web applications. It's a very simple process, just like you configure a WAS application for scanning. You can simply just turn on malware scanning. And you specify the schedule at which you want to perform malware scanning. And that's it. Then you go back in the malware detection module that is right there, download the report, and see all the instances of any malware present in your web application. Match to known virus, malicious content, website blacklisted, and things like that. Now moving on to the next phase of this demo, which is about integration. Qualys WAS integrates with Burp, because a lot of you use that. It integrates with Bugcrowd. Common tooling like Jira, ServiceNow, GitHub, Splunk, with every integration, you see the instructions to configure the integration. And once you have configured the integration, the information from Qualys WAS is synced into your ticketing system. And you can triage or set rules for automatic triaging and get things remediated that way. Really simple process. I hope you liked what I showed you. And you can always scan that QR code and register for free web application security scanning. You will get to see your true risk, web applications true risk. You will see OWASP top 10 report. You will see any sensitive data exposure. You'll be able to detect malware that may be present in your web application. And you would get all the information needed to prioritize and remediate your application security issues. Thank you.